Professor Pellum, these Confederate statues in the United States have once again become the subject of debate in this country. Some say they honor history, they honor heritage, but Black Americans say they are a painful symbol of racism and slavery. Your take on this?
I actually oppose complete removal of all Confederate symbols. Just as a historian, I think that they are important to speak to the accurate narrative of racism in the United States. And so I think one of the consequences of complete removal might be the erasure of history. We have textbooks that teach children that Africans came over here as voluntary work migrants. And so you run the risk of allowing people to sort of hide behind the removal and act as if these things did not occur. And so in that sense, I'm against complete removal. However, I do support where public dollars are funding these Confederate memorials. They should absolutely be removed. But in the cases of private businesses and organizations that have carried Confederate symbols, I say let them wear their badges of shame proudly so that we know where racism exists and where it has existed.
But removing these statues doesn't really deny the reality of what happened, deny history. It perhaps stops glorifying these statues.
I think it's a matter of perspective, right? And so in no way do I think individuals who are tied to the Confederacy should be in any way, shape, form, or fashion honored. In fact, folks who are tied to the Confederate flag, just by way of the record, are known as losers in the Civil War. These are folks that are traitors to the United States flag. And so in no way should they be held up to any sort of esteem. However, the United States has a very poor record of sharing accurate history with the larger public. And so for that reason, I do think that in some cases where context can be added, those Confederate memorials should remain. I think in addition to them remaining, perhaps there can be some written words, some script that provides context for when and how those memorials came to be in the first place. So that way they serve as more of an educational piece rather than an honorarium.
And then let me move on to renaming the U.S. bases. That is also the subject of debate. President Trump has said he will not consider it. And let me paraphrase a tweet that he posted. He said these monumental and very powerful bases have become part of a great American heritage and a history of winning. And he goes on to say, my administration will not even consider the renaming of these magnificent and fabled military installations. He even criticized Senator Elizabeth Warren, who put out an amendment to change the names of these bases. And her amendment actually got the support of a Republican-led Senate panel. Your take on this, how is all this going to play out in the weeks and months to come?
I do not think that Confederate names should remain on American bases, especially when so much public funding goes into those bases.